welcome to Family Table. I think we're just dropping stuff over here already. That's all right. We're glad to have you back. I'm Pastor Tim.
And I'm Patty.
And we're going to have one more day. It's our last day with the movie Homeward Bound. And now in today's part of the movie, we're going to see our three friends, our three pets, Shadow, Chance, and Sassy. They are trying to make their way across a river as they're trying to make their way home.
Yes. The two dogs just swim across, because dogs do that, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to convince the cat, Sassy, to do the same thing. And we know how cats feel about water.
Yeah, most of them do not like the water. So, Sassy, of course, being a true cat, refuses to swim and tries to find her own way across the rocks further downstream, like walk across them. But unfortunately, she slips on the wet rock and is swept away in the river.
Why do you think Sassy should have trusted Shadow?
Well, Shadow's the older one, right?
Right.
A wiser dog, supposedly, and I guess dogs just intuitively know how to swim and cross rivers. I mean,
Yeah.
They just know how to swim. And to get them across the river, to trust the dogs to get her across. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So have you ever needed to trust someone in a scary or tough situation?
Well, I guess we're all trusting right now as we go through this pandemic with COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're trusting doctors to help find a cure. We're trusting government to help make rules and things to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
We're trusting our parents and our teachers that we're going to be safe and things like that. So I think that we're definitely trusting.
Yeah. So just as Sassy needed to trust Shadow in order to cross that river safely, there is a Bible story that is similar to this story from Homeward Bound. And it's the story of Jesus walking on water from Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 to 36. And we're going to have Patty read it for us.
Yes, and we're going to read the story again from our Jesus Calling storybook. And this, Jesus walks on the water. After everyone ate that miraculous meal, and it was time to go, Jesus told the disciples to sail their boat to the other side of the lake. Jesus stayed behind to pray. The boat was far from shore when a big storm came up. The wind and waves rocked the little boat to the left, then to the right. As the men fought to keep from sinking, they saw something. Someone walking toward them on the water. Yikes! Their bodies shook with fear. They screamed, "A ghost! A ghost!" The figure came closer. Then the men saw that it wasn't a ghost, but Jesus. "Don't be afraid," Jesus said. Peter said, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to walk to you on the water." So Jesus said, "Come." Brave Peter climbed out of the boat and he started walking on the water toward Jesus. But as soon as he thought about what he was doing, really walking on top of the water, Peter got scared. Down he went into the sea, yelling, "Save me, Lord!" Jesus grabbed Peter's hand. "Why did you lose faith?" Jesus asked as he pulled Peter, all soggy and squishy, into the boat. Now the men believed. This really was Jesus, the Son of God.
Peter needed to trust Jesus in order to walk on the water. And as long as he was trusting in Jesus and keeping his eyes focused on him, Peter could miraculously walk on top of the water just like Jesus was doing.
But as soon as he stopped trusting, he got scared and he sunk into the water.
We have some items that we want to see if they will sink or float. We're going to do a little experiment here. See if anything will sink or float. We got
our little river.
Handy water here. What do we want to start with?
I don't know. We're going to come right up here so they can see really well.
Oh, okay. That means I have to get up.
You can just hand me the
All
thing.
right, so we've got
a die, okay? Like you play board games with. Okay? Do we think this is going to sink or float? What's your guess?
Sink.
Sink? Oh.
Oh, there it splooshed.
Splooshed even. It sank. Yep. My hand's down there, but you can see it in there. It sank all the way down. Okay, well, we've got a cork. We've got some cork. Do you think it'll sink or float?
It's pretty big.
It is big.
I don't know. Usually big things sink.
Okay, let's see. Oh, nope, that will float. See that? Floating on top of the water? Okay. I'll trade you. Next we've got
Oh, there it goes.
Excuse me. Next, we've got a quarter. Okay. Sink or float?
Sink, it's heavy.
Sink. Yep, down it went. Right down to the bottom with the die. See it down there? Yep, all the way to the bottom. Okay, we've got one more thing. I bet you could figure out whether this... What
this will
about
definitely float.
my Donald rubber ducky?
Float.
Yep, he floats right
float.
on top of the water. Just like Jesus was on top of the water and Peter.
So as we can see, some of these items sink in the water, and these items are just like us when we don't trust in God. We could sink deep into despair and the hopelessness, sink down with our sin.
Just like the cork and the die, right? Yeah.
I mean the quarter and the die.
The quarter and the die. Ha, yep. But if we trust God, He can kind of help us float through our problems. So our problems just don't go away, and they may not be easy, but He gives us that lift and that joy that we still can have during those problems. So just like, the duck and the cork and Peter, we can then walk on the waters trusting Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think our project should be today?
I think you all need to take a bath.
Yeah, some of you definitely need to take baths.
I'm just kidding. But yes, I want you to take a bath. And I want you to take some items, pick some items from your room that you won't ruin if they go in the water. And I want you to see what will sink or float. And to think about how trusting Jesus helps to get through the hard times. And also while you're in there, you can remember your baptism, because your baptism is water and the Word, right? And how much it means to be a part of God's family.
Yep. Well, that's it for today. We hope your experiments go well, and you get clean while you're in there.
And don't worry, there'll be no pictures of us in the bathtub for an example.
Please don't put those on there. No,
yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, no pictures today.
All right, that's it for today. We'll see you again next time. Have a blessed day in Christ.
Bye, guys.